Yellowjackets was a perfect blend of different genres. Not only does this make it an entertaining series, it also means that there's a wealth of shows out there to watch to fill in that Yellowjackets void. But worry no more. We've compiled a list of some of the best shows to watch if you miss Yellowjackets. First off, Santa Clara Diet. Maybe you started watching Yellowjackets for the promise of cannibalism, and you were completely disappointed as there was a lack of it. But if you really want to watch a show where someone chomps down on another person, then Santa Clara Diet is for you. The story revolves around a very normal family consisting of Dad, Joel, Mom, Sheila, and their daughter, Abby. They're living a quiet life until it turns upside down after Sheila mysteriously turns into a zombie. Yeah, you heard that right. Well, much like the silly plot, the show is literally a comedy of errors, as it's filled with cartoonish violence and very fast-paced. But we can't deny that it's also a lovable series that'll give you tons of laughs. The show reaches its ultimate potential when we get to see the genuine bewilderment of the tensed characters as they try to make sense of everything after their loved one develops a craving for human flesh. The show is truly a roller coaster ride from start to finish. Unfortunately, it got canceled before the showrunners could wrap up everything, but the 3 seasons it had were real gory, gleeful fun. Secondly, Lost. When you watch the pilot episode of Yellowjackets, you may get the feeling that it's the direct descendant of the mystery series Lost. And we're not saying this just because both of them start with a plane crash, which leaves people stranded as they fight for their life and try to make sense of every mystery on their wild journey. Over its 6 seasons, Lost was definitely a masterclass, as the writers kept us hooked by using different timelines to not only shock us and do major plot reveals, but also to develop the story arc of the characters. Well, we won't deny that the show did have some moments where some of the puzzles made no sense, but in the long run, it was all about how we got to know and love the people stranded on an island with more secrets than anyone would have thought. And once the show had its end date, those plot reveals and mysteries got even bolder and tighter, while the makers still made us remember that the heart of the show was in the awesome characters. Next up, The Wilds. What happens is a private jet carrying a group of teen girls crashes, and the girls are left to survive there in the wilderness. Yes, the plot may sound similar to the Yellowjackets and Lost, as well as the multiple timeline format, but the characters in The Wilds have to face a completely different type of obstacle. Turns out, we learn in the beginning that the plane crash was actually planned, and the girls were left stranded on the island on purpose. They were actually the victims of a vicious social experiment mysteriously run by Gretchen Klein, who's the founder of an organization, Dawn of Eve. And as the show runs around the struggles of these teen girls, you can imagine how cruel they can get. They're all strangers in the beginning who come from different backgrounds, but eventually they've got to team up in order to stay alive. We know most of the twist of the show is revealed in the pilot episode, but hold on, there's still a lot of mysteries ahead that'll keep you hooked to the screen, with the biggest one being, what on earth happens on that island? Then, Sharp Objects. If you're looking for another mystery show with thriller elements and complex female characters, then look no further, as ABO's Sharp Objects ticks all those boxes. It's based on the novel of the same name by Gillian Flynn, who rose to fame for her novel Gone Girl. The story revolves around Camille, which is yet another promising performance from everyone's beloved redhead Amy Adams. Camille is a journalist who struggles with alcohol addiction, which leads to several self-destructive coping mechanisms. She has to return to her small hometown to investigate the mysterious disappearance of a young girl. There, she's face to face with her estranged half-sister, her domineering mother, and a whole troubling world of dark secrets and memories that she's always run away from. The case also draws the attention of a handsome detective, and he quickly strikes a connection with Camille. Well, that's enough on the plot, but we're pretty sure it's already grabbed your attention. The show is part quiet and part menacing thriller. It's true that the beginning is a bit slow-paced, but when it starts to hit, the show knows how to get under your skin. It's definitely worth watching, with all those gothic mystery elements that take on the cycles of violence and trauma. And here's a warning, the plot twist in the ending will hit like a punch in the gut. Now, the society. Here, a number of buses filled with high schoolers head out of town for a field trip. But guess what? No, it's not the students who've disappeared this time. It's actually the town people who have mysteriously vanished. Things get even weirder when the students find out that their town is now encircled by a dense forest, and apparently there's no contact with the outside world. But was this done on purpose? A lot of questions like this beg for answers in the show's first and unfortunately only season, where the teens have to survive on their own. It really gets exciting to watch as the teens step into surprising roles in this whole new world. Well, the situation in the beginning may look more civilized as compared to Yellowjackets, but it doesn't take long for everything to turn into an utter violent mess. Plus, we get to know that teens love to throw school dance parties when they have to face their own mortality. Who knew? Also, The Stranded. If you're looking for more shows revolving around teens being stranded on remote locations and forced to feed for themselves, then Netflix really has got you covered. We've already talked about The Society, but one of the standout shows is a Thai series called The Stranded. In fact, it's being described as Degrassi on the Lost Island, and if that sounds interesting to you, you're in for a wild ride. The story revolves around a group of rich students from private schools who get trapped on a remote island after a devastating tsunami. There are no adults and no source of communication, literally no way out for them. Yes, they do try to team up to make their escape, but you can guess, all of that teen melodrama gets in their way, not to mention a multitude of supernatural forces. The show has a tense atmosphere, and surprisingly, the story is compelling as it explores the characters' burgeoning sexuality, class dynamics, and genuine scares. If you can, we recommend you to watch it in the original language with subtitles, as the English dubbing leaves out some of the important details in the translation that may change your perception of certain characters. Did we mention Manifest? One of the most disturbing scenes in Yellowjackets Season 1 is the plane crash that starts it all. That troubling feeling of the plane dipping down and the characters scrambling for oxygen masks and something to hold on to during this horrific ordeal was a great catalyst to kick off the first season. Netflix's Manifest also has the same plot, where the plane has a disastrous end as it veers off the course. But hold on, it actually has a plot twist of supernatural forces. Turns out, instead of crashing, the plane mysteriously disappears for 5 years, only to re-emerge and make a safe landing on its intended destination, with all of the passengers thinking that only 5 hours have passed since their departure. And as the passengers and the crew try to restart their lives with the friends and family who presume them dead for half a decade, they struggle to adjust to this modern world. Not only this, they also start to get these weird visions that seem to be from the future. Manifest really keeps you glued to the screen as it tries to make sense of the central mystery rather than getting lost in the lives of characters and their personal trauma. Finally, Euphoria. Bet you didn't expect to see this one here, but just like HBO's Euphoria, one of the Yellowjackets' strongest elements is its portrayal of the teen girls. With every character so richly developed and three-dimensional, there are really no easy types to lean on. Therefore, HBO's iconic teen drama is a perfect choice if you loved watching Yellowjackets. On top of that, Euphoria is another major critical and commercial hit for HBO. If you haven't watched already, the show offers an unfiltered look at the California teens as they struggle with teen addiction, gender identity, young love, mental health struggles, and every struggle that comes on the threshold of adulthood. That's a wrap for this video. Which one of these shows are you going to watch? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more amazing videos like this. We'll see you in the next one.